Good evening, Rinima. Welcome to Passion Talks with Kanchan Sonik, episode number 4. And I'm so delighted
Hey
and
there.
honored that I'm calling a friend who's a decade-old friend, but has been an inspiration for entire 10 years. I have not met her in 10 years, but have followed
Oh
or
my God.
where not to see what Rinima has become. And the best version is yet to come, but I would say in progress for sure. So to all the world around, she is the best trainer you can go and learn things from. She's the best designer of fashion. I will say fashion tycoon for me, because when you stop thinking, she starts thinking from there. And the energy and the passion for living life is something which I love and learn from her. So Rinima, over to you.
Thank you so very much. Nobody has ever said such nice things about me, I feel. Barring my family and my husband, of course. But thank you so very much, Kanchan. I always love to chat with you. I mean, I always love to chat with women who are ambitious, right? And that's what kind of got me connected with you, even when we worked together, like you said, decades ago. Still remember the campus, still remember our breaks, and still remember our conversations. That's just me. I have an elephant's memory. But thank you very much. And I really love talking to more and more women in my life because I get so much to learn every single time I interact with somebody. So definitely very, very grateful for this opportunity and very, very privileged to be connecting with a person who I have met so long ago and just happy to be alive and doing this.
To all of you who heard that we know each other for a decade, but I have heard stories of her coming from a very small town where she thought that she will never see a metro city, and she has made her mark in the top silicon city of India, where people talk about Rinima and the temperature goes high. So Rinima, what was the journey of a small town girl who had big dreams, bigger, larger than life, to think and make a mark that's my passion?
I like how you're giving me a lot of importance by saying a small town is actually a village, which is so far away from where I live right now. Um, it's crazy because when you are raised in a smaller place or a small village, which is again, I was from this specific village called Jaklabandha, which is in Assam, northeast India. And my whole life, I think we come from a very middle class family, right? Where Zara look is expensive for my family. It was expensive, 2,000 rupees top or 1,000 rupees. One garment, spending 1,000 rupees on a garment was not something that we would do. That's how what I come from. Um, my mom and dad doesn't speak a word of English. My sister went to an Assamese medium school, but I think I was born in 1987, and I think by the time I was in kindergarten, my neighbors were somebody who almost forced my mom and dad to put me in an English medium school. Because at that time I was too young to plan my life. So I think it was God's plan that I went to an English medium school. But I think the kind of fire that I had to do more of myself started beginning because I felt like, as a middle class girl family, I always saw my own family or my own cousins or my own friends and people who I was growing up with giving so much importance to people who were richer. Like they would treat them as God. Like I remember my cousins or my uncles, my aunts who were way richer than we were. I mean, I wouldn't call them rich, but they were in a much better financial situation than we were. And whenever they would come home, like my mom would be cooking tirelessly. She would give them our bedroom to sleep, and we will sleep on the floor. So very quickly, as a grown-up kid, I started understanding that people with money were given more love and more respect because I could see it. And at the same time, my mom and dad were not given the same respect and same love because we didn't have the money. And that kind of bothered me. Of course it'll bother you, right? When somebody doesn't treat your mom and your dad with the same respect they give the other members in your family, starts bothering you. And then you also grow up with this sense of understanding that this world or your people, if you have more money, they are going to always like you more. So from a very young age, I started, and not just money, right? My uncle who lived in London, he was born and raised in London, was one of the biggest influences in my life because I remember seeing him in his fancy clothes and his fancy accent and his great vocabulary. And I definitely wanted to have that kind of a quality and that kind of a persona So all mixed together, the preparation started at a very young age, right? I knew like from the time I was in 5th grade that I wanted to make a mark. I wanted to be important. I wanted to be looked upon. I wanted to be treated right. I wanted to be, and all of those things put together kind of was my ignition that kept my fire on. And I still have it. I don't think I have achieved what I have really set my mind to. Yeah.
Rinima, you come from a family or a place where people didn't even dream that a girl from this place will fly so high. And today, when you
Yeah.
talk about didn't know what is English or never heard of English in the family, is training in a multinational company to the world that what English is. So for people, it's, a calm duck. But I see Rinima paddling day in, day out. So, a tag of that, oh, she has a silver spoon. She has earned that spoon. We weren't born in that silver spoon, right? So the life
Of
you're
course
living.
not. I mean, I was born in a shack. My mom and dad didn't even have a concrete house. My ceiling was hay, and our walls were bamboo, and our plaster was clay.
Oh, wow.
That's where I'm born. I didn't have a car. My father has a Bajaj scooter. I mean, come on, silver spoon. What are you talking about? No, that's not me.
Rinma, the day you came to Bangalore and you saw those, glamorous thing which you always dreamt of, what was that one lonely moment where, in the crowd you stood apart? You ensured that you didn't lose your ground. You ensured that, sky's the limit. Come what may, I'm not going to look back. What was that igniting moment that you felt, in this crowd, I don't belong to this crowd. I want to create my own crowd. So what was that moment?
I think I stood up for myself and I realized that I am such a fast learner. Like that was when I realized, and that happened, I think in 2007, 2nd of January 2007 was my first day of joining a multinational company, not because I wanted to join a company because I couldn't make my ends meet. I had to work and study together because I had to pay my fees. I had to pay, my mom and dad couldn't afford me studying in a big city. So I still remember 2nd of January 2007 was the first time I joined this company called Converges. And I was put into voice and accent training. And that to me was something crazy because I was like, wait, this company is going to give me salary. They're going to teach me how to speak English for free. They're going to give me free food. And they're going to give me a cab back and forth to come back. And I have insurance. So, for me, it was like, wow. But at the same time, I remember being this girl from Assam who would call bracelets as bracelet and message. I didn't know how to pronounce. I would literally just pronounce things the way people pronounce it in my small town. And I knew I was laughed upon. There were about 18 people in the team. And a lot of people used to make fun of me, my dressing, because of course I came from a small village. I don't know how to dress up in a city. So I did whatever, but at the same time, I was stylish. That's something you couldn't take away from me. I was always stylish from a very young age. So whatever little things I had, I was always stylish about it. But I think 3 months later in the same training, I was awarded the best trainee and I shut everybody's mouth because I was only 18 years old. And I was the youngest person. And I was the same girl this entire 17 people made fun of and laughed and made fun of my pronunciation. And after 90 days, I beat them all. I became the best trainee. And 6 months later, I was promoted as a communication coach to teach the same bunch of people English in the same company. And I think that to me was a validation, a strong as validation that if you by being in a call center or by being I was very realistic. My goal at that point was to improve my communication so that I could grow more and earn more. So very, like I said, the one moment that I stood out was I knew that I could watch you, learn from you, and I will beat you in your own art someday. So be careful.
So Rinima, a girl who didn't know how to dress up, to a girl who owns Miss Momo today, and Momo is your nickname. How did that happen? And how Miss Momo helps all this underconfident girl who are not happy in their skin to flaunt what they are? What is Miss Momo?
Miss Momo is my growth. in the last 17 years of my transformation, right? It's a small town girl who made it. That's what Miss Momo is. And I think I was, there's certain things that are God given. Whether it is a pretty face, in my case, I feel like the things that I really, really think are God given are, one is my face. I'm forever thankful to God that He gave me a pretty face. My knack for styling started at the age of 3.5, and my mom still narrates these stories to me because as a 3.5-year-old girl, I would insist on wearing my mom's saris. I used to use my grandmother's tablets, which were red in color, and lick it and use that as lipsticks because my mom would not allow me to wear lipsticks at the age of 5 or 6. So, I was always naturally had a knack for fashion and style, always. Just that I wasn't exposed to the different fashion of this world because till about my 10th grade, I didn't have social media, right? So what happened is when I came to Bangalore, I got exposed to a lot more options in fashion that I could play around with. And that's what I started doing because in the 16 years of me working, I have zero savings because I've used my entire salary on either my family or on clothes and shoes and accessories, right? That's something that always made me happy. So when I grew and I kept growing and my fashion kept getting better and better and better, because I did put in a lot of effort and I also am naturally good at it, I think I really wanted to give back. That's what you do, right? When somebody has gone through a lot and you evolve, you come up out of it, you want to give back to the same set of people who you think might go through that. And that is why, whether it's my vlog or it's my podcast or it's my Instagram or it's anybody I talk to, I always tell people, I don't care about the people who has already made it. It's not about I don't care. I root for them. Great. They already have it. I worry about those girls. And I always say girls because I feel there's a lot of people to help men. And right now I really want to focus on my girls, that they are dear to me. So I want to be that person for each girl who comes from a small village like that, who comes from a small town like that. And Miss Momo is that validation to them that you don't have to grow up looking pretty. You don't have to grow up being rich to be rich, or you don't have to grow up looking pretty to be hot. You don't have to grow up speaking English fluently to be a fluent communicator in the language today. Like, you don't have to be freaking anything, right? And you just have to have the fire in you and you just have to believe it and you just gotta survive. Like, that's what it is. And Miss Momo is my giving back to all of the women who thought I couldn't and to all the lovely women who knew that I could. So it's my way of giving it back to the women, saying that, hey, however you are, and this is gonna sound so funny, and I say this to every single girlfriend of mine, I say that if you have a pair of boobs, honey, you are gorgeous. You don't look at anything else on your face, on your back, on your nothing. Like, God made you a woman, and that just makes you need to know that you're gorgeous. So yeah, that's what Miss Momo is, my learning, my experience in the last 17 years. And a big slap on all of those bullies in my school or in my class who said a small town girl or a poor girl did not deserve fashion. That's not true. We all deserve fashion.
Rinima, thank you so very much for touching that. But your hand and the tattoo I have feel and touched says love is life. How you have so much to give, from dope to messages for uncle, the love you have on those pictures when you hug him, the love when you go back home and you pour it on your sis and mom, and to all your friends, even your blogs. It starts with so much of love, as if it is oozing out. How do you have so much to give? Because only a person can give when they have more than enough. So how's that love is the center of all you do, Rinima?
It has been a center of my life. My dad gave me so much love that, it didn't matter where I was raised or what I was wearing or how much bullying I was going through at school, because the moment I came back home, he made me feel like I was the prettiest, smartest, nicest, kindest daughter that he has given birth to. It's mean of me that I don't take my mom's name all the time, and she has been, of course, a great supporting factor in my life. But the kind of love I got from my father was a different kind of love. I mean, my family talks about it. When I say my family, not just my mom and dad, but my cousins and whoever's seen us together would always speak of the relationship. And he was a very giving man. He was, and I still am the same. Like, if he had $10, he would share $10 with each one of us and his friends or whoever didn't have it. And I think I grew up seeing that, and I saw the happiness that he had, and I couldn't help but be like him. And it makes me so happy because I know how it is to not have love also at the same time. Because while dad raised me so dearly till the age of 17, when I left home and I came to Bangalore, this makes me sad because while I got so much love for 17 years, I also got beaten up by 3 different boys for 15 years in 3 different relationships. So I did understand the difference between being loved and not being loved. And I chose the former because
You are stronger. You're stronger
yes,
than we know.
for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely a survivor. It makes me sad only because it is very sad to not be loved. It is a very sad state of mind. It's a very sad feeling.
I
And
echo your feelings, Rinima, because dad gave me the best love I could
yeah,
define of, and you know
yeah,
what I'm going through as well.
yeah,
But I would
yeah,
say I see you and dad in Ronnie and you.
yeah,
I see dad in you when you treat
yeah,
Ronnie the way you treat. And
yeah,
that completes the circle, Rinima. You got enough. And I see
yeah.
the love you pour on to even Dope. Dope is so pampered and spoiled brat. You made it.
Yes, he is for sure. He's voiceless. So that is why I kind of have that feeling towards him, because I feel sad that he can't express, he can't tell me when he's in pain and with Ronnie, I mean, what breaks my heart is that he does not have a dad. And I know the importance of father in your life. My dad was the most important figure in my life, So yeah, and like I said, I only learned to love from my dad. Then I'm continuing to do it. You can't change the way you are. No?
Rinima, 3 learnings in the last 17 or today, whatever you stand, 3 major learnings which you will never forget, or give 3 messages to the world that these are the 3 core learnings I have learned, or that is what defines you today. Three core learnings.
Invest the maximum time and energy on yourself, not anyone else. First thing. Never believe when someone tells you that you cannot do it, if you know that you are good at it. But at the same time, be realistic. Like, I can't sing for nuts, so I wouldn't try to make a career by singing, so that's very important for you to know. And I think the last one is just give, because it just is one of the best feelings in the world, is when you just give whatever you have, just give, because it has, it's crazy, because I have always been giving, and I didn't know that people notice, because now I meet people 15 years after, 16 years after, and all they talk about is, dude, you help me with this, and dude, it makes your day, and it makes your week, it makes your years. Just, these are my top 3. Maybe I could, if I had more time, I would change it, but like at the top of my mind, I feel these are the 3 things that's really something that I have done, and I'm very proud of myself for that.
Rinima, I totally agree to whatever you said, because you preach what you do. So this is what I have seen you doing as well.
Yeah.
For fish is water, and for me, for Rinima, it is travel.
Yeah.
What if Rinima doesn't travel? What happens then?
I mean, if you see, it's funny, because I didn't travel internationally unless I was 30 years old, because quite honestly, I could not afford it. But I did keep doing a lot of trips to Goa or Pondi or whatever I could afford. But good question, when I'm not traveling, what I'm doing, I'm creating. I mean, it's funny. I work for Dell, that. So that happens all throughout my life. But when I'm not traveling, I'm really constantly thinking of creations, whether it is new Miss Momo clothes or whether it's a new content for Instagram. Like, when I did not have Instagram, it could be plainly be, what is my next nail art design that I'm going to do, or I will be reading a book. I spend a lot of time. I mean, now that I have my husband, who's like somebody who's replaced my father, and I have the same love back in my life again. So I spend a lot of time with him. Then I have few selected friends who I like to sit with, and sometimes just have a drink and have a smoke and just talk about life. And, but I do spend a lot of time connecting with damaged people. I have to tell you that. And it just happens again very naturally to me. When I meet people and I see somebody has anxiety or somebody has depression, I invite them over to my house or invite them over to my studio. I try to understand what they're going through. Maybe I'll try to pamper them by buying them gifts or, whatever I can possibly do, like in that small moment to help. I try to. I like making people happy. So I think of different ways to do it.
Just to add in, even if you're super busy and somebody like me calls, you still find time to call and talk and get back the message. So
of course, because I mean, when people tell you they don't have time, I think they're just bullshitting because come on, who doesn't have 5 minutes to pick up a call or to call back somebody and just talk to them? Like, it's just priorities. So people are doing that. I don't like it. I feel they're putting up their price, and I don't appreciate people who says I don't have time for you. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I would not say that thing to anybody.
I agree. Rinima, people think that you don't fit in the box, but they don't know that you come from a different box, from a different world. Pink being your favorite. I was the first one who ever saw a pink shining diamond phone. And I still remember how you used to flaunt it. And, dread a pink shoe. And I don't know, pink hair. You have tried nearly all the possible things in the world which can go with pink, right?
Yeah.
What is this obsession of pink? And I really love the most beautiful app you have created where I can play around with Barbie. That's my children's favorite reel. Whenever they come back, bring Rini auntie. She looks like a Barbie doll.
So cute. Obsession with pink is honestly, there's so much pressure when you're growing up to be like, come on, stand out, be different. Don't be like everybody. And I'm like, cut that crap. Be basic. It's okay to love. Like, most girls get pressurized to say that they like pink because they are afraid of being basic. They want to, like, haven't you seen girls where you ask you, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? They don't want to say vanilla or strawberry, even though it's their most favorite, because they want to be different. They want to stand out. And I'm so against that theory. I'm like, no, I believe in being basic. I believe in liking the same rom-com movies that maybe majority of the girls in this world will like it. I like to fit in. I like to be like, that's me. I can't be different. Pink has always been my favorite color. My dad used to always buy me a lot of pink things when I was small. And I remember like making my entire books pink, copies pink with pens so that I can write on a pink background. So, and I was just original. I mean, I didn't want to hide the fact that I loved pink. I mean, I liked it, and I'm a very expressive person. So whichever way I could express, I expressed it. Having a pink mouse or a pink laptop or a pink phone wasn't for anyone else to see. It was for me to feel good because that color makes me feel so happy. And I'm always doing things that makes me happy. I really could care less about anyone else, what they're thinking about me.
If we have a book on Rinima, it talks about Rinima was born, she was the second sibling, went through, I don't know how many transitions to become what version she is right now. And I'm pretty sure this is not the best version because she is a perfectionist.
A work in progress,
And you will ever ask her how things are not perfect, but I'm achieving it, I'm attaining it, I'm going it, I'm in the right direction, and that matters the most. So what is the title you think would be of your book? And when can we get somebody to write it, or are you going to pen it down yourself?
I don't know if I actually have to think about it. Jesus, there's so many words that's in my mind, but I think I will still stick to how love is life. Like, I feel like I was happy without money and I'm now happy with money, but I was never happy without love, and when I say love, I'm not just saying in a romantic relationship, like from every angle. Like when I go in a cab, it's nice when the cab driver is nice to you. Like when you go to your office, it's nice when your colleagues like you. So I think that's most important thing. Like that's what I try to tell everybody. Like, don't say hurtful things. Like if you can make somebody happy and give them love for 5 minutes, just do it. Right? Just do it, because it just changes so much. So I think love is life is very dear to me, because I feel I did this tattoo at a point in my life when I just didn't have a lot of love in my life. So, and like I said, I know how it is to have it and I know how it is to not have it. And that's what it is, because I feel I'm a product of love. I'm being very nicely produced and made and grown and nurtured by my lovely family, by my parents, by people who has always told me how awesome I am in my family, So, and because I had that kind of upbringing and because I had that kind of love till 17 years of my life, I could survive any bloody shit that came after it, because I knew I had loved ones to love me and go back to. So, yeah.
just in the quickest way to end the rapid fire, you have to just give me one word, okay? And I'll keep asking you random questions. Your mom, one word.
Greatest superpower.
Your sister.
Love her. Love her.
Ronnie baby.
My son.
Dope.
My second son.
Daddy dear.
My everything.
Husband dear.
Replaced that recently, but now my everything. But
Miss,
oh God, it's so difficult to be explained in one word. Yeah, sorry.
Miss Momo.
My passion
Women empowerment.
means the world to me right now.
Financial freedom.
Important for every single woman in this world.
Love yourself.
You have to. You don't have a choice.
Me time.
Very important. Very, very important, especially for women. I feel, I mean, like people will think I'm a sadist and I hate men, but it's not that. It's just that I feel in India, a lot of women have to spend a lot of me time. Very important.
Social life.
You can do without it, actually.
Social media.
You can do without it too.
Invest in yourself.
Very important. Again, number one priority for me right now.
Rinima Borah.
An icon. In the making.
You nailed it. Nailed it. So on a closing note, Rinima, I'm super glad and honored to be speaking to you. I wish I can have Rinima part 2 because we had some technical glitches before starting.
Yes,
but
done.
on that note, I'm super glad that we had you on Passion Talks with Kanchan Sonik. And I know we're going to take it ahead to the next level when we come back with some travel destination where you're traveling, so that I can say I have an international client as well.
I can totally pass through you. See, I look Latino half of the time, so why not?
Loads of love, loads of success
Thank
to
you,
Miss
baby.
Momo. And I can't wait to flaunt Miss Momo that, that blazer I've been eyeing on. I know I'm going to get it super soon. With that, one last question, Rinima. Do you believe in the law of attraction? You said you believe in creation. So do you believe in law of attraction? What you attract?
I feel like it changed my life a lot. Like when one of my friends gave me the book, The Secret, and I read everything after that, magic and everything. I think manifestation is so true. Again, some people think it's bogus, but it's very difficult to manifest. Because your mind has to believe that you want it. And if you put 10,000 things out there in the universe, you don't want to confuse the universe, right? So you have to be, I do believe in it because my entire life is, my husband is a product of my law of attraction and manifestation. So yes, I very strongly believe in it.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your kind, motivated, passionate words. How would you define passion to end the show? What is passion?
Something that you can never get bored of.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's very natural to you.
Fashion and style.
My bread and butter.
Thank you, Rinima. I know how precious your time is and how you have accommodated in the entire Sunday family time and the promises you have ahead. But with that promise that we will see you soon, thank you for sharing your passion and the journey you survived. We know you're a fighter and we can't wait to hear more stories. You're an inspiration for all the women around. Let it be a small village or a small town. It is the bigger dreams you carry around. So with that, thank you. We were honored to have you around. Vanita was super excited to see.
I remember her from Convergence. I remember her from the very first company that I joined. And I remember her so well because she was one of these her posture and her grace and her everything, the way she wore she used to iron her clothes very properly. And I remember she had straight hair and I was like, wow, this lady is like such a corporate, like she must be at the top of her game, So I'm so happy that you are here. Thank you so very much for joining. And please know that I remember you. I remember your face. I remember the clothes you wore. And I, in fact, remember the role that you have done in Convergence. You have inspired me so very much. Thank you so much for joining us. And Kanchan, on that note, you said such good things about me, and I'm not saying good things about you because I'm trying to do a barter. I have known you from HP. And I think I still remember the 3 girls at the time that I met with. And I think I'm so proud that you I remember at the time when I met you, I was a trainer and you told me how much you loved training and how much you wanted to do it. And today you are a speaker, you are a community, you do trainings, and you are where you said, and you started this podcast and you're doing your bit as an Indian woman to inspire more and more of us. And I love that you're doing it and you are in that bandwagon with us. Thank you so very much. Let's do this. Let's show each and every woman of our country what they deserve. And that's only love and happiness from themselves first, and then comes the rest. So super excited to partner with you and do more and more things, because I know you mean well, and I know you come from a very good place. And congratulations to where you are today. And I know you have a long journey ahead, and sky is the limit, babe. Sky is the limit.
Here we go. Yeah, we have just started.
We have just started.
The little wings growing
We're
high.
growing up. We're growing up.
On that cause, thank you, everyone. Passion Talks with Kanchan Sonik will keep bringing you more passionate people who can learn, inspire, and shape up your passion to the next level. These people have lived up to their passion and proved the world wrong, because their passion took them to the right direction. On that note, thank you. Take care. We'll see you next month with one more passionate leader on the board. Thanks, Vanita. Thanks.
Bye, Kanchan. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks,
Bye.
Rinima.
Thank you.
Hey,
Lovely.
you're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.